And welcome to another episode of South Texas Crossfire. This is attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMB with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto Lozano Lopez. He passed away, but he's honored, he's venerated, and he's never forgotten. And my good friend Carlos Lopez, you guessed it, the Ted Turner of South Texas Broadcasting. And I want to thank our favorite and most important sponsor, God. Without him, nothing is possible. And we thank him every day for everything we do on this show. And politics, he realized it in the good book. I think they called it the Sea of Trouble. But somebody who can calm those waters in that sea of trouble is our good friend, Loyd Neal, a bipartisan leader in the county, and I'm honored to have you on.
Joe, thank you so much for including me, and I really anticipated coming on today. Thank you.
Well, I'm really happy to have you on because we kind of get a sneak preview. I don't want to put you on the spot about the state of the county or anything. I just want to educate our listeners. I think that they worry with these economic and troubled times. We need a firm hand that also can reassure us how the good news. We always hear so much bad news on TV. But before I do that, I'd like to let you reintroduce yourself. You don't need an introduction, but I think a lot of people don't know about your education, training, and background.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, I was mayor 8 years, but going back in my history here, I was in the insurance business here in Corpus Christi for 40 years. Had a lot of professional designations after my name. We had a very, very successful agency, and in 2006, I retired from that and began my quest for being county judge. But prior to that, I had a 30-year career in the military, most of it in the Army Reserves, retired in 1989 as a colonel, and I'm very pleased and proud of that. My education, I have an undergraduate degree from Texas A&M College Station and a master's degree from A&I over in Kingsville, now Texas A&M Kingsville, in business. And as I said, a 40-year career in insurance. Also, I taught out at the university 29 years as an adjunct professor in risk management and insurance, which I really enjoyed. We have a great family. We have 2 children. Both went to Carroll High School. Our son played basketball there, and our daughter was a Tigerette. He went on to law school after he graduated from A&M and College Station. He practices law in Houston, and he has 3 children, 2 at A&M right now, a senior and a freshman, and an 11-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And then our daughter is a school teacher, public school teacher in Bernie. She's taught 27 years up there in the public schools and in California in San Antonio. She has 4 children, a 15-year-old freshman in Bernie High School, and 11-year-old triplets, which are always a challenge.
No way.
Yes, 2 boys and a girl. But they're a great family. We have 7 grandchildren, 2 at A&M, and hopefully the other 5 will be there one of these days. We're an Aggie family.
I didn't notice that from your telling us about
Our grandson that's up there right now is a 4th generation Aggie by the same name. So his great grandfather was an Aggie. So we carry on the tradition. In Corpus Christi, I've had a wonderful blessing to have a great insurance career. I was blessed to be mayor 8 years. Got elected in a very close race with my good friend Henry Garrett back in 1997 in a runoff, beat him by 534 votes and 36,000 cast. It's a nonpartisan race, and that's where I really learned to cut my political teeth. 2007, I got elected county judge. I'm a Republican. Right now we have a Republican majority on the court, but it's 3-2. This is my 8th year, 4th year of my 2nd term. I enjoy what I do. County government is very different from anything else I've ever done because there's really no boss. You know, city government has a city manager, but in county government, we have 37 elected and appointed officials. So you get along and you govern through the budget, which is my principal job, but also working together and cooperating and listening and talking. And I spend a lot of my time in the courthouse walking around and talking to elected officials, Democrats and Republicans alike. Everybody will tell you, and you're being an attorney, you know this, if you keep those 8 district court judges happy, the courthouse is happy. And so I work very closely with my judges. We have 13 judges in the court, plus 2 JP in the courthouse and 2 JPs, and then the appellate court upstairs. So it's a busy place, but we work together through the budget. We work together by listening and talking to each other and helping each other, because at the end of the day, my boss is you, the taxpayer, those people who pay our taxes. And I remind every county employee, when they come in our orientation, you may work for the sheriff, or you may work for the district clerk or the county clerk, but your boss is the public, the people who pay the taxes, and I remind them that that's what we're there for. And so hopefully that's what we do. The county is really doing well, but the county is doing well. You know, we have 4 things we operate under at Nueces County. When times are good, and they're good, we pay down debt, which we are. We're not incurring any new bonded debt. We paid down about $40 million of debt principal since I've been county judge. We invest in our people, and we have a real good program investing in our people, giving raises when we can, and all those things, good health care coverage, good retirement plan. We invest in technology. We've invested almost $14 million in technology in the last 4 years, and we'll continue to do that because that's how you expand the role of government without adding people. And the 4th thing is you put more money in the bank. And we are constantly aware that we need to have about 25% of our general fund revenue in our unallocated fund balance. And so I manage the budget. That's the principal job. I'm an administrative judge. I don't have a judicial docket. And so most of my time every day is spent, I approve every bill before it goes to the court. I look at every cost. I look at everything we do. I review all the contracts with the county attorney. I'm an administrative guy who looks at everything, and I have about 15 hats I wear every day.
Well, and you know, it's not an easy job. You always are going to have someone, detractor or not, or people looking and seeing conspiracies everywhere, still waiting for that magic bullet to come out of somewhere. But there are people that say some of the decisions that have been made by the county, not just on your watch, but on others, have left our, you know, the rhetoric is left our grandchildren in debt. Now, what's the real story on that stewardship that you're the captain of the helm? You're conning this ship. What's the real story on, are we in the debt that some people that are very far left say we are? Or not?
Well, we're not the county. I can't speak for the other governmental agencies, but at the county we have less than $100 million of bonded indebtedness. The total bonded indebtedness in Nueces County, all factions, school districts and cities and everything, is over $3 billion. So as a portion of the debt of the whole citizenry of Nueces County, we are a very small part. And we've incurred no new bonded indebtedness in the 7 years I've been judge. We're not going to while I'm county judge. And we're paying off debt principal. We've refinanced $67 million worth of that debt since I've been county judge and lowered that rate, saving the taxpayers money. So my philosophy is, if you don't have the money, you don't spend it. And there's nothing I need to go borrow money for that I can't do out of my well-governed general fund budget and working with all the elected officials. So debt's not a problem. Nueces County last year, we lowered the property tax rate combined for the hospital district and the county to the lowest combined property tax rate in over 20 years. So we're good stewards of your money, and we're going to continue to be good stewards of your money.
And, you know, a lot of people are concerned with the hospital district. It's a hot button issue. Some people are saying, I may lose, you know, that county card I have. And I know that some people think that it is fraught with abuse. I can tell you on the front lines as a healthcare provider, I don't see as much abuse as people think there is. I think it helps a lot of people.
Well, Joe, you and I, your background is great, but you and I both know that in Nueces County, what we call Nueces Care is what the taxpayers pay for, and that's indigent health care for adults only, and with the poverty level set at 150% of the federal poverty level. The hospital district monitors and qualifies the people, and Chris Despon, you know, carries out the contract. They have the contract for indigent care, principally through Memorial. But what we do here is we have about 10,500 people in Nueces Care, all adults. The children are under CHIP and they're under something else, and most of them go to Driscoll, under the Driscoll Health Plan. But the future of our program here in Nueces County and the future of any adult health care program depends upon whether the state of Texas ever accepts the additional Medicaid funding, whether the state of Texas really gets into, I'll call it Obamacare, that's what the president calls it. But we don't know. And so we prepare ourselves through our contract with Chris Despon, and you're familiar with the 1115 waiver, which is a transfer of local dollars up through the state and the federal and comes back. And we, through the hospital district last year, and Johnny Hipp's leadership, worked out a really good program for 5 years with Chris Despon to transfer that money and also help other healthcare providers, Driscoll and Bay Area, City County Health Department, what was MHMR. All of those people now are beginning to see some of that 1115 waiver funding coming back, and it helps, Joe. It helps solidify the hospital district, build our fund balance back, but more importantly, it helps us open up programs for diabetes care and obesity care and those kind of things that we're being able to fund there. The problem is what happens at the end of the 5 years. And I came out last year on my State of the County and said, Governor, we need the Medicaid funding in Texas. We need to be one of those counties that steps up because we have another 20 or 25,000 eligible adults in Nueces County who could benefit from an expanded Medicaid program. If they come into our program, Joe, and they fall on the back of the local taxpayers, then that's a negative. So we're going to have to work with people. We're going to have to work with the state. Right now, our Nueces Care program is working well. It fills a gap.
It does.
It fills an important gap of about 10 or 11,000 people between these that have and these that don't. We want to expand it where it's possible, but at the same time, we're capped with the amount of tax revenue we get, and that's about $32 million a year from the indigent care tax that you pay through the hospital district.
Well, we were out in Mathis the other day, and I think a model, and I think here we're doing it with clinics. Mm-hmm. And they had a clinic right next door to a school. And so the kids don't have an excuse. They get sick, they get a flu shot, they get to go see the nurse and everything.
Right.
And guess what? The neighborhood clinics, the elderly, the parents, everybody can go.
Sure.
And I think that Spawn is one of the biggest employers. And
it is one of the largest employers in this county. And
not to leave out HCA and Doctors Regional, they do a great job too, but they also need to think of creative ways to meet that gap.
Right.
The other thing is economic opportunity. A lot of people think that there's this shroud of mystery around the Economic Development Corporation. You've heard of the Illuminati, that y'all meet, and that those people meet. And but what's the reality of the situation about somebody who wants to really start a business here in Corpus? They're not having to go through hoops. We've got the Italians, I hear, the Chinese. Who else? I mean, we've got jobs coming.
Well, it's the current players are M&G, which is an Italian company coming in the port area, the Chinese with the steel pipe company over in the Gregory area, the German or Austrian company, steel company coming on the North Shore. We've been told recently that there's a major expansion coming with OxyChem, big expansion coming with OxyChem on the North Shore. The large people get taken care of because they get tax abatement and they get other things, and we're all looking for those jobs, which are very good jobs. What you raised is a very good question, and we have here through Texas A&M University and what they're doing out there in the old bank building out in Flower Bluff with all the startup businesses and all. If a person has a good idea and they want to take that idea and try to turn it into something, the university is prepared out there to assist them, help them in an incubator status, see if it's real, and assist them in getting started. Now, the mom and pop on the corner, you and I both know starting a new grocery store or starting a new restaurant or starting those things is very difficult because usually they're undercapitalized. And if they're undercapitalized, that's the majority of the basis for most failure.
But that's the way it's always been.
But that's the way the Americans do things.
Yeah.
That's how we do things.
Yeah.
Got an idea, let's go put it to work and see if we can make it work. And you have to realize there's risk associated with it, but there's still a lot of opportunity here. I think we have a great county.
And as far as homeowners, we were just talking about that. What do you see? I don't want this to become another Detroit, and with what you're telling me, I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I think that we're getting a lot of jobs and opportunity here, but are we going to have, as far as a shortage of housing if all these things come in, rentals, housing? What do you hear from your constituents in that area, the realtors?
Well, what I see and what I talk to people about and what comes across my desk almost weekly as county judge are people who want to build more apartments. Now, there are a lot of apartments being built in Nueces County and particularly in Corpus Christi right now, some of them in the inner city part, which is very, very good. Every one of those projects, no, most of those projects is requiring some kind of assistance, some kind of financial assistance or a federal assistance or something else. In doing that, they have to make so many apartments available to the lower income group, middle income group, so they'll have a place that they can afford to live. I think we're meeting the demand. My people who own apartments tell me they're at 95, 98%. You know, the problem in business, as you well know, Joe, is do you build a staff or staff to build? And so if you're building to hopefully somebody's going to come and occupy it, then you got to keep your economy going. If you're building to take care of your current need and let those people move out and buy a house when they can afford it, that's okay too. We've been very fortunate. The last couple of years we've had substantial new housing starts. But right now the inventory is pretty short.
Well, I kind of hit the highlights, and I hope you come on again. I know that we've got to talk politics too.
Yeah.
You do have an opponent in November.
Right.
So I know you can't block walk as much as you'd like during the week. You got to do county. As you said, you are being paid by the people. But if you knock on a couple 100,000 doors here and they'd say, well, why should I vote for him again? Why should I vote for Loyd Neal as county judge?
Well, I hope they're more than satisfied with the 8-year record that we have. We've lowered the tax rate. We've not spent money we don't have. We've got our budget under control. We're doing good things for our people. We're investing in technology. And we're looking forward by our regional concept of working with our friends in San Patricio County, our friends in Clayburgh County. We work on a regional basis every day on military, on water, on transportation, on all the issues that affect us as a region. We're an island down here in South Texas. We're not a big metropolitan area. For us to succeed, we have to be regional in our approach. And I've preached regional approach since I was mayor, all the time I'm county judge. All the things we do at the COG and the MPO and all those things, those are regional initiatives. We're fortunate. We have the chairman of the calendars here, Todd Hunter. We have a great representative in Abel Herrero. Those two guys need our help. But
well, they're taking care of us in Austin.
We can only do that through the region. Individually, we can't do it. So I hope people look at that and say, hey, this guy's got his act together. He knows how to manage a budget. We're not going to spend money we don't have, but we're going to be looking to the future. And April the 1st, I'll be talking about the future's now in Nueces County. How are we going to solve these problems for jobs? And I think we have a way to do it, and I'll be talking about that.
With your permission and that of the sponsoring body, we'd like to send Diamond Dave out there to get a little bit of your state of the county to share it with everybody who couldn't make it.
Sure.
From Agua Dulce to Bishop and all the way out here to North Corpus Christi. Loyd Neal, your county judge, coming on and giving us a little snapshot of the state of the county. I want to take the opportunity to wish you well on your election. Yet again, you've always got to take the title,
Yeah.
You've got to, the Muhammad Ali thing, you've got to fight for it. Politics is a full contact sport. If somebody wants to get involved in your campaign, yard sign, T-shirts, what's the magic number?
946-3682 or 549-2744.
And we're going to put those numbers up and a website or a Facebook. I know you got Facebook.
I have Facebook. I'm technically challenged, but we have a Facebook, and it's a good one, and they're doing a lot of work on it right now.
Well, you got plenty of friends on there.
Yeah,
so, we go visit you, and please post some things on there so we can all share with all our friends.
We're doing it every day.
All right. Well, Loyd Neal, your county judge here in Nueces County. I want to thank him for coming by. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to bring on some judicial candidates when we come back.